All right, so I've got the submit button dot click block in here. So when the submit button is clicked, what do I want it to do? And if you sit here and think about it, okay, I could write it down. Like, that's usually the best way. What I normally do is I write down what I want it to do. So if I were to say, well, when the button's clicked, I want to take the text from in here that the user is going to type, and I want to put it into the text down here. And I'm going to replace ... I'm going to replace that with the user. So it says, what is your name? And the user clicks in here with their finger, and then the keyboard pops up on their phone, and they type in, let's say your first name's Josh, and you type in Josh and click submit. I want Josh then to show up down here. And let's clear this out eventually. But right now, let's just try and get what the user types to show up down here at the bottom. Okay, so this is a text box, and I want the text box to go into final output label. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the final output label. I'm going to set that to whatever this is. So if I go to final output label, you have all these different properties. Now, if you look at these properties, text color, text, visible, width percentage, those are all the properties that we talked about before, right? So we want to change one of the properties. So we're going to change the text property. So go to final output label, let's find dot text. So set final output label, and you have to drag it in there, right? And you might hear this like click noise. I don't know if you can hear that. It like clicks, right? That means it's dragged in properly. If you like drag it over here, it's not going to recognize it. You actually have to drag it in there, and you see how it just fits like a puzzle piece? The blocks click in there. And there's an X there, and you're like, well, why is there an X there on my screen? It's because it doesn't have any value connected to they call it a socket, but the other part of here. So, all right, cool, I got it. So we're going to set the output label dot text, so the property text. We're going to set the output label to, if you look at it, whatever it is was in the text box, so the username text box text. Okay, so we're going to say username text box dot text, and realize it's not going to be the set because I can't drag. Watch, look. If I try dragging this in there, that's not going to fit. It just doesn't work. If I don't want to use this block, I can drag it over here to the trash can and drop it in there, and it disappears. All right, so I'm going to say the text, and then click on this piece and drag and drop it. Okay, so when the submit button is clicked, it's going to just keep going down. So when submit button is clicked, it's going to set the final output label text to whatever the user text is, whatever the username, whatever they put in that text box. Okay, so if I typed in Josh here, Josh becomes the text property of the text box. So that text property of the text box, the username text box, is then going to be sent to the label down there, right? And then let's also wipe out whatever it is the user put here. Like if they put Josh, right, let's wipe that out because we've already stored it down here. So it's going to do that. And then in the same, so we'll say username text box, set the username text box. We'll set that to, and if I click on text, right, up here in this pink box, if I click on text, and I go up to the top, there's just like a blank, it's called a blank string, okay? I'm going to drag that in there. And I'm going to explain this exactly what we did in the next tutorial.